5 o'clock, New Orleans.
Good evening, I'm Terry Wood.
And I'm Beverly Carr, and this is 5 o'clock New Orleans. Tonight, our cover story looks at a problem common to every woman who works outside and has to leave her kids in. It's called guilt, and you're not the only one dealing with it.
Have you ever wondered how a teenager copes with the attention and stardom his athletic ability brings? We'll follow one young man on his way to college sign-up. But first, the news.
Can the city order a NOPSI rate cut or not? That decision, which would affect how much you pay for power, is in federal court tonight. NOPSI wants a judge to decide whether the city was correct in ordering the utility to trim $135 million from future rate increases. NOPSI and the City Council have been battling for years over rate increases for the $4 billion Grand Gulf nuclear plant. If a member of the Orleans Parish School Board moves out of the school district, should he still be allowed to sit on the board? What if he has moved to Virginia? John Robert, who was board president 2 years ago, now lives in Virginia, but comes back to New Orleans several times a month to attend board meetings and to conduct business. Other board members have asked him to resign, but Robert says he'll only do that on his terms. The bribery conviction of former Congressman Richard Tonry has been thrown out. Federal appeals court today overturned Tonry's conviction on a legal technicality. The 52-year-old lawyer was convicted in 1986 on 3 bribery counts and had been sentenced to 5 years in jail.
The Republican National Convention could present the New Orleans area with a windfall of jobs and opportunities. Many executives from Fortune 500 companies will be special guests at the convention, and New Orleans Councilman Peggy Wilson and several dozen local business leaders hope to use the convention as a backdrop to selling out-of-town executives on the advantages of locating in Louisiana. There will be a new look on the Jefferson Parish Economic Development Board soon. However, some people aren't happy with the way it will happen. The Jefferson Parish Council voted to increase the board membership from 9 to 11, with the 2 new posts going to a black and a woman. Previously, the board had been all white males. The chancellors of 3 area black colleges will select 3 finalists to fill the post, and that has some people upset.
I resent having a member chosen or recommended to you by these universities. I think that we, as black people in this community, are capable of submitting names to you ourselves.
Jeff Council Chairman Bob Evans promises the selection will be fair and representative of the black community.
You know, when women work and leave their kids at home, they suffer a common affliction.
Sometimes guilt becomes too much a part of their lives. That story is coming up.
In my saying things to him, somehow that got across. And if the message from me is, you know, it's not quite right to go to work, he's going to pick up on that, and he's going to say, yeah, you're right, it's not quite right that you go to work.
Do you know why your mom switched to Florida Gold orange juice?
Because
it's squeezed from just Valencia oranges. The other brands blend all kinds of oranges. You know why Florida Gold uses just Valencias?
Because
They're the best tasting, most expensive juice oranges you can buy. Bet you didn't know that.
I get a lot out of these little father-daughter chats.
Florida Gold brand orange juice. It's not a blend of all kinds of oranges. It's pure Valencia.
When the Real Superstore came to New Orleans, other stores were shocked. The Real Superstore's prices weren't just cheap. They were cheaper than Schwegman on advertised grocery prices and thousands of unadvertised prices. And now the others realize what's even worse than a Real Superstore in town is 2 Real Superstores. Yes, it's a new Real Superstore for the West Bank. Bigger, better, and still cheaper than Schwegman.
East Jefferson General Hospital's care unit is providing Care Cab, a free taxi service for individuals too intoxicated to drive. The service is available throughout Mardi Gras to Orleans and East Jefferson residents only, and riders will only be taken to a residence. More than one person may ride in a cab, but they must be dropped off at the same place. These services are available 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Friday, February 12th through Wednesday, February 17th. Any person may call for a Care Cab from a public place by dialing 454-4599.
This is Casey Jones, coach of the Boston Celtics.
We have a Hyundai in our family. I recommend one to you. It's a great car at a great price. For a great deal, come see my friends at LeBlanc Hyundai.
And right now, you can buy a brand new Hyundai for only $99 a month. Yes, for payments as low as $99 a month, you can own a brand new Hyundai. And that's a purchase, not a lease. And if we make a deal, we'll pay off your trade no matter how much you owe.
For a sure shot, score with LeBlanc Hyundai.
Veterans Boulevard near David Drive.
You know, there are 38 million mothers in this country who work outside the home, and you can pretty much bet that most, if not all, feel some guilt in some way.
In our cover story tonight, a look at the special problems moms face in leaving their kids with a sitter or in a daycare while trying to overcome the notion that guilt becomes us.
He has been away from me for like 12 hours, and it's not, you can't say, Adam, go to bed, or Adam, do this.
Bridget Johnson is 24 years old, working full-time at Tulane, and a mom.
That was the worst semester of my life.
You better not give me some.
Dr. Susan Glade also works full-time, a psychiatrist with her own practice. She is married and has 2 children, 2-year-old Len and Josh, who is 6. Each has to deal with the guilt of leaving her children to work outside the home. They handle it differently, but they are not alone.
Every working mother is going to feel guilty. If that mother says she has never felt guilty, she's either in full denial or she's lying. A lot of us are programmed not to be angry with our kids, but we are. Just because they take up a lot of time and a lot of responsibility, and so does the job, and so does having to take care of the house and take care of the family.
Women work for different reasons, some to survive, to support the family, others because they want their kids to have what they didn't. Still others work for the sheer joy of it, for self-fulfillment. When a woman is working to provide a home or a better life for her kids, should she feel guilty about leaving them to go to work? In many cases, those feelings are rooted in the past.
A lot of women also were taught by their own mothers, I think a lot of Southern women, were taught by their own mothers that a woman's place is really in the home. And if you work, you do it because you have to.
Think it's all out?
Bridget and Adam Michael are alone. There's no man in the house to help, but they have a special sharing relationship that's helping Adam grow and Bridget cope. There's no money for an after-school babysitter, so Bridget relies on and feels lucky to have the Audubon Montessori School. Teachers keep Adam busy and happy till Mom gets off work.
I checked my workbook.
I think that is so wonderful. I really do.
Josh, which one do you want?
I want the Ida Green piece.
What you want to do is come home and relax and have a little time yourself, but you've been away all day and they want to be with you.
Since the Glades have their hands full at work, Len's a physician, they decided full-time housekeeping and childcare was one solution to the guilt problem. Then the time Susan does get to spend with the boys is more fulfilling, but still the kids have questions.
Joshua used to ask me why I go to work, and the response would be for M&M money. That was when he was about 3 or 4, and that's what he could relate to, was M&M money.
I'm so proud that my mom is a teacher, but gosh, I wish she were home for me more. In the same breath.
We spend time together, doing things together. He'll ask me, well, what did you do? Did you have fun? He'll inspect. Did you go on a date? That's why I say I think he's 5 going on 25.
And tomorrow night we'll talk about how to get rid of some of that guilt. It's a complex problem.
Does some of that guilt go away, Bev, say when the children are of school age and spending most of the time in school?
Some of it does. The moms seem to grow up with the kids and they feel a little less guilty leaving them home when they're older and able to take care of themselves. But when they're young, it is a problem. And it's surprising, not much has been written on it. It's a relatively new topic, we're finding out.
Look forward to your report tomorrow night.
All right.
Well, children of alcoholics are being targeted with a new education campaign that was announced today. The National Association of Children of Alcoholics launched a program using comic book heroes such as Spider-Man and the Hulk to let children know they can get help when dealing with an alcoholic parent. Also targeted are adults working in elementary schools. The program is designed to help them recognize a child that needs help and how to steer that child to the proper help.
Sounds like a good program. Up next, Dan Milham will tell us whether or not we need to bring a jacket to tonight's parade.
And we'll also tell you how you can keep up with the Joneses, and it can sometimes be more hazardous to what's inside your wallet than you think.
Keeping a family on a budget isn't always easy. That's why I shop for great values like these.
John Morel Franks are only 69 cents from your Associated Food Store. A 32-ounce squeeze bottle of Hunt's ketchup is only 99 cents. A 13-ounce bag of Bonus Blend coffee is only $1.69. And a quart jar of Blue Plate mayonnaise is just 99 cents.
Associated Food Stores are best to you.
You know, when a friend of ours suggested I join AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons, I was surprised. I'm not retired, far from it. Then she told me 20 million people, both retired and working, belong to AARP. It's for anyone over 50. A $5 membership fee brings me free information on Social Security and pre-retirement planning, savings on travel and prescription drugs. I also get Modern Maturity, one of the most widely read magazines in America. Best of all, I'm part of one of the most vital voices in America, a voice government really listens to on important issues like pensions and Medicare. You can join AARP today by calling their toll-free number. They'll send you a complete information kit, including news about AARP's group health insurance. Once you've paid your $5, you'll receive a membership card. Use it to get discounts on hotel and car rentals. You'll also receive a monthly news bulletin. Don't wait. Call for your free information kit right now. You owe it to yourself to join the 20 million other AARP members who are getting the most out of life.
Come join the people of AARP.
My husband wanted all the therapeutic benefits of a waterbed, but I didn't want to give up my bedroom furniture to get them. Then Superior Waterbed showed me the Soma.
Soma's revolutionary new design includes individual tubes of water to achieve the firmness you desire. Factory authorized prices as low as $269. Plus, if you buy the Soma now, you'll receive the state-of-the-art color TV or the Sony Watchman TV absolutely free. Hurry, quantities are limited.
You'll sleep like a baby on your new Superior Waterbed.
All right, now we're wondering about the parade weather, but we've still got a little history lesson to talk about first.
Right.
You have probably heard many times about the varying forms of geographic and meteorological disaster that can strike California.
Yes.
And this is an important anniversary for them because it was on this day in 1978 that a wall of water did $50 million worth of damage at a little place called Hidden Springs in Southern California. It was one of those episodes of rain and heavy mudslides to begin with, and as if that wasn't enough, the Pacific decided to come ashore. 13 people drowned on that day, $50 million worth of damage done. Not a happy, but a nevertheless important anniversary for them. Here's a look at, we'll call it the sneezometer, since it's not a graph, but it is a look at the what's in the air out there. The pollutant standard index is still in the good range at 21. The mold spores are the only thing showing up. 1,120 particles per cubic meter, and it's all cladosporium. Our skies have looked quite good today, better than I thought they would. They continue to show us fair skies. 61 at Moisant, 61 here at the Quarter and at Slidell as well, and 62 at Audubon. The humidity at 50%, wind out of the south at 12 miles an hour. It's been variable, but mainly out of the south, and will likely stay out of the south overnight tonight. That should keep things a little, well, sort of on the mild side. The barometric pressure is looking on the high side at 30.13 because we're still kind of cool. A cool evening. I think a jacket will be in order with 55 degrees, but certainly not biting cold by any means. Wind out of the southeast, 5 to 10. A couple of showers, I got to tell you, a couple of showers have shown up in our area. They're down around Morgan City, between here and Morgan City. Just 1 or 2 showers. The chance of rain, I think, for the parades this evening is there, but ever so slight. If I had to bet, and I don't, but if I had to, I'd say you're not going to get any rain on you at the parades tonight. Continued cool through the morning hours just before sunrise, the low 40 degrees with the wind still coming at you out of the southeast. Now tomorrow, I got to believe there's a chance of rain with the approach of a little cold front. Chance of rain, 50-50, but still a chance there during the day. Maybe not parade time, but during the day, with the wind shifting from southeast in the morning hours to sometime during midday becoming northerly. That chance of rain again right through the daytime. Not necessarily parade time, but through the day. A high tomorrow of maybe a little bit cooler than today. We reached the 60s today, probably staying in the 50s tomorrow. Maybe some cooling, dropping temperatures during the afternoon, and cold, noticeably cold tomorrow night and Friday. Beverly, we're going to need the jackets on the weekend.
All right, thanks, Dan. You know, eel skin accessories have just lost a little bit of their luster. If you have one of those wallets, handbags, or briefcases made of eel skin, beware. Something about the skin seems to foul up the magnetic stripes on those bank and credit cards. A fish scientist in San Francisco says he's gotten dozens of calls about it and figures it may be the tanning process or some goo that exudes from the reptile. In any case, he calls it a major yuppie problem.
Major?
I would consider it a major yuppie problem.
Especially if your wallet is exuding goo on everything that's in there.
And this was a leading fish scientist, mind you.
Anyway.
Thankfully not a health story.
That's right. Now that we're off the subject of eels, we got to tell you about an exclusive patent that's been granted to a U.S. company for an AIDS drug, or at least for investigating an AIDS drug. Now, tonight's HealthCast, Leslie Cardet is here with details on that. And also, I understand you're going to tell us about a couple of new surgical procedures.
Yeah, they're interesting. As far as the drug goes, it's a lot of money for that drug company. Everybody's been fighting for this. And that experimental drug known as AZT, which is the only drug now approved for treating AIDS, will soon be available with a prescription. The Burroughs Wellcome Drug Company has been granted exclusive rights to market that drug for the next 17 years. It will be sold under the name Retrovir. Meanwhile, doctors have been shattering kidney stones with shock waves for a couple of years now. But next on the list is gallstones. Now, although this machine has not come to New Orleans yet, it will be here in the next few weeks. And unlike the kidney stone machine, in which a patient is submersed in water, these gallstone patients sit on a table as the doctor puts the electrical device up against the skin and uses ultrasound to guide them to the exact location of the stones. These pictures are of the first sonic disintegration of gallstones in the U.S. It took place 2 weeks ago in Dallas. Well, an occasional so-called sinus headache is no reason to go racing off to the doctor for immediate surgery. But for those people who have tried medications and just can't get any relief, a new procedure has proven to be very successful.
It really felt as though I had brain damage, is what I told one of the doctors. I was just, it was just the pressure. The pain wasn't as great as the pressure was. The pressure was just what was really driving me crazy, but I really didn't know it was from the sinuses.
For Erlene Landry of Lafayette, it wasn't what was blowing in the wind that was causing problems. 2 prior sinus surgeries in which new openings were built into her nasal cavities were both unsuccessful, as can be seen by the pus that was still welling up in the floor of her sinus. It's important here to make a distinction between sinusitis and allergic rhinitis. This procedure is not for everyone, and that includes people who suffer from seasonal allergies. However, if you have pain in your face, if you have pain in your teeth, or green and yellow mucus coming from your nose, you probably should look into this procedure. The surgical procedure itself consists of widening the natural opening to the sinus, which can become thick over the years after chronic inflammation occurs.
Let's take a look in your nose here and see how things have healed up. You can look at yourself over there in the television monitor. And
for Erlene, the good results have literally meant a breath of fresh air.
I just didn't want any more surgeries. So I did agree to have it. They told me it was a totally different thing, and I am so happy that I did.
That was a serious problem she had, not your typical allergy. She was on oxygen during the day. She had pulmonary function problems. You know, she just couldn't breathe, period.
But it worked for her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even though her other surgeries were different and didn't work, this one finally cleared up the problem and lets everything go through.
Great. Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Coming up next on 5 o'clock New Orleans, we'll tell you about the big welcome a local sports hero received in Baton Rouge.
And today may be the biggest day in your child's life if he's an athlete hoping for a scholarship. Vince Marinello will tell us about the pressures of signing day when 5 o'clock New Orleans returns.
This Mardi Gras, all you party animals are gonna party all night long and work up a really wicked thirst. That's why Burger King is offering you the Super Squeezer for only $1.29 plus tax. It can hold 32 ounces of cool refreshment. And it's only $1.29 when you buy a large or medium soft drink at Burger King. With a Super Squeezer, the party's never over.
East Jefferson General Hospital's care unit is providing CareCab, a free taxi service for individuals too intoxicated to drive. The service is available throughout Mardi Gras to Orleans and East Jefferson residents only, and riders will only be taken to a residence. More than one person may ride in a cab, but they must be dropped off at the same place. These services are available 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Friday, February 12th through Wednesday, February 17th. Any person may call for a care cab from a public place by dialing 454-4599.
Come along and listen to the music. Open up your heart and lend an ear, you'll hear it. Come along and listen to the sounds of Tennessee. From country stars and city lights, down home days and uptown nights, history and harmony, they're all here in Tennessee. Tennessee sounds great to me. Tennessee sounds great.
Prices have dropped on all Lazy Boy recliners, Lazy Boy sleepers, and Lazy Boy sectionals during the Lazy Boy Showcase Shops clearance sale. We must do it better.
Well, the Super Bowl MVP is back in his hometown in Louisiana tonight. Redskin quarterback Doug Williams returned with his family late last night. They arrived to a big welcome in Baton Rouge. Fans and friends were all there. This is the first time Williams has been back to his hometown of Zachary since he led the Redskins past the Broncos a couple of weeks ago.
Great. You know, Doug Williams went through this. Signing day.
National Signing Day. LSU signed 20 today, Tulane 17, and we'll have complete reports on both schools, Beverly and Terry, at 6 o'clock.
Come on, give us a little preview.
Not going to hold you till 6 o'clock. The pressures are enormous, not only on the recruit, but the parents as well. Just ask the Hughes family.
Hello? Yes, I have committed to Nebraska, but I want to thank you for showing your interest in me.
That's been pretty much a familiar happening at Tyrone Hughes' home. College recruiters calling, each wanting to convince the St. Aug all-purpose player that he should come to his school. It's been hectic.
As the coaches would call, you know, you'd have to talk to them and tell them how you feel. And most of them tell you about basically the same thing every night they call, you know. It gets tiresome after a while.
When Tyrone wasn't home to answer the phone, the recruiters usually tried to work Mama.
Well, you, his mother, you have influenced him all of his life. You have told him what to do, what not to do, when to do it, when not to do it. So I know you can tell him what school to go to.
Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, therefore it's vital to get the blue-chip athlete. And recruiters can be a hardy lot.
One night we had one to come in the snow, cold, freezing, rain, camped on our doorstep.
The recruiter's pitch to a prospect can come in different ways. It all depends on who's delivering it.
A lot of them would tell me, if it was in a state school, they say, well, you need to stay home because your parents would like to see you play and all this, and that, you know, your family will get to see you. And if it was out of state, they said, well, you think you ought to get out of state, get away from your parents, you know, you can always go back home, this and that.
It's happened in the past. Recruiters or fans or supporters of a school offering money or cars or jobs, etc., etc. Did anything like this happen to the Hughes family?
No, not illegally, but they were probably kind of hinting around to it.
Anybody offer you anything?
Not directly. Indirectly, yes.
Little innuendos, perhaps?
Yes.
What would you say?
That didn't interest me.
Tyrone has opted for the University of Nebraska, and initially that caused a rift in the family.
She and I kind of had a little argument in that I enjoyed starting to see Tyrone run that ball, and I thought if he was at LSU, I could see him a little bit more. And I don't know how much I'm going to see him at Nebraska, but then I have a lot of friends at where I work.
I see who won the argument.
Okay.
Mama won the argument, and number 87 in his family, they're a class family, and this kid's indeed a winner, and unfortunately, he's another one that got away from the state schools.
It's okay, Nebraska's on TV all the time.
Yeah, but we don't want him to come back home to haunt us, but we wish Tyrone Hughes and all the kids who signed to go out of town, which Buddy will tell you about at 6 o'clock, we wish him well.
Yeah, you bet.
Find out how LSU and Tulane did that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Vince. Coming up next, we won't find out how they did, but we will introduce you to the man who will be bringing Mardi Gras to the English when 5 o'clock New Orleans returns.
You can see it coming. You can feel the energy rising. We're Francis Drilling Fluids. We're ready with the surest fleet on wheels, ready to roll from locations across Louisiana's Gulf Coast. Francis Drilling Fluids, ready with the right people,
ready to get the job done right, wherever you are. Across Gulf Coast, Louisiana, we're a network of efficiency. Francis Drilling Fluids. We've got the energy.
We're gonna bring on the beef, spread on the cheddar. McDonald's cheddar melt. First we'll bring on the beef, spread on the cheddar. Bold and saucy, much better now. Grill up the onion, stack it on a rye bun. Cheddar melt. For a limited time, so come on, all together say, bring on the beef, spread on the cheddar. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Just $1.39
for a limited time.
Happy Valentine's Day from Woolworth, where you can shop and save this week on a fancy Red Heart box of delicious candy, 1 pound size, $5.97, and Mon Cherie whole nut milk chocolates, family size box, 2 for $3. You'll also find a beautiful selection of Buzza Gibson Valentine cards, plus colorful freshly potted African violets, 2 for $3. And you can register to win a giant 5-pound chocolate-filled heart this week at Woolworth, your Valentine headquarters.
Some things you can always count on. Billy always playing, and Mom always knowing her Crisco fried chicken will bring him home. Listen.
Crispy.
That's the sound of Crisco home cooking. Crispy, not greasy. Crisco, as sure as Billy's game,
Great chicken, Mom.
never being over till it's over. Bring them home to Crisco home cooking.
Oh, what a weekend we have got planned.
You bet.
I'm looking forward to it. Saturday, Endymion, one of the big parades, and they've really got something to celebrate about this year.
A couple of things, as a matter of fact, and Allie Gifford is standing by live with the Endymion floats at the Orange Street Wharf, where they're ready to roll on Saturday night. Alec?
Well, that's right, Beverly. Most of the floats have already been moved over to East Bank. There are a few of them on the other side of the river. But here comes one of the major floats of the parade. Even though it doesn't roll until Saturday night, boy, they're set to go. Here's Jerry Romig, who's a special aide to the captain of Endymion, television executive Jerry Romig, an old friend of mine. Jerry, you got a big party planned for the Superdome, don't you?
We've got 1,000 maskers and 10,000 guests at the extravaganza Saturday night following the parade, and perhaps the greatest rock and roll show we've ever seen in New Orleans with Smokey Robinson, the Miami Sound Machine, and Gloria Estefan and Roy Orbison.
Should be quite a party. And this man standing right there is John Walters. You're going to hear in just a moment he says hello, that he's from the BBC. Hi, John.
Hello.
I told you so.
Glad to do that.
You've never seen anything like this in your life,
No,
have you?
no, I'm really looking forward to it. You see, Alec, you've got to realise that in Britain we celebrate what we call Shrove Tuesday by making a pancake in a pan and tossing it. And about the most exciting thing is somebody misses the pan and it falls on the floor. They're not prepared for this. We're going to bounce Mardi Gras off satellite to Britain. And, of course, we've got a concert at the Toulouse Theatre with some of the best New Orleans musicians. Alan Toussaint's going to introduce that for us. So it's going to be quite a party, and I don't think they're ready for this back in Britain.
5 hours of live broadcasting.
Yep, and there it's going to finish at midnight. We're going to make sure of that. So they're ready for Ash Wednesday then. You know, Lent starts when we finish and come off the air.
Well, what a party you're going to have, friend. You're going to enjoy yourself. You've never seen anything like this. Okay, folks, that's the story here at the Orange Street Wharf. Now let's get back to Bev and Terry.
Throwing pancakes, huh?
I think we could use a little pancake flipping contest.
You haven't gotten any throws yet.
No, but I'm sure I will.
On behalf of the crew of Tux.
Oh.
They brought some by today.
Oh, look at that little throw.
Your
I don't
first
think I'll throw
beads.
this one.
No, these are for you to keep.
There
A cup
we go.
and a tambourine.
Great. We're all set.
Have a ball.
See you at 6.
Good night.